You need a third-party product for that. All right, everyone. We're going to admit some more folks. As you're coming in, I'd love to see you on camera. It helps me keep my energy up. And it really helps us to make sure that we are helping you all. Third-party. Oh, I got to pause this over here. All right, we don't need feedback happening. All right, good morning, good morning. This is the first call of the year, 2026. How's everyone's year going so far? Anyone have any wins? Anything happening?
I have a win.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I have been working on a transaction since the middle of October. It was originally supposed to close December 1st, then January 2nd, so last Friday, then today, and now I've got clear to close. We're gonna do it on Friday. So I just cannot wait for this one to be done.
Congratulations. I feel your pain. I had a similar one, and I totally feel your pain. It's really challenging when those things happen, especially around the end of the year, right? Because everyone's trying to get everything in by year end. Your clients are getting stressed. You're stressed. It's like chaotic, right?
It was. Yeah. And then, to put everything in there at the same time at the end of the year when there's only 3 days of working for 2 days or like 3 days of the week. And then we had a blast of like just really cold, snowy weather up here. So you add that in, we couldn't get a well in. We could not get a well dug. It was our problem.
Yeah, it is definitely it's definitely fun when you guys start to get cold up there.
Yeah.
That's when our market heats up down here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I used to always say that when I was in senior living and I was in sales, I would just pray for a snowstorm because that's when my building would fill up. And I would be like, I need a blizzard. Um, just give me one good blizzard that'll knock the power lines out for 3 days. Everyone wants to fill up in here with us. We get our air mattresses out, 24/7, and we would just hammer it, right? Uh,
Yes.
Now that happens down here in Southwest Florida when we have hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
You have an A team and a B team, same thing, same type of a thing. And so that's when things get like crazy and that's when things start to fill up. It's very interesting. Well, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear that. Welcome, everyone. I see we have some new faces on today, and we'll be letting some folks in. If you can join on video, it just helps not to see some of those black boxes. It really helps me to keep my energy up because my job is to help you all. So for those of you who may not know me, I'm Felicia Saraceno. I'm one of your Productive Aging Collective co-founders. And I have a very long history in senior living as both an executive director and a sales director. So about 5 years ago, I became a real estate agent that is focused on seniors. And I have moved about 400 seniors into senior living. I'm still an administrator for the state of Florida, so I have a pulse on what's happening, and I've been an administrator in 2 states. I also am the president of the largest networking niche for seniors here in Southwest Florida, and we focus on giving back to our seniors locally. And so that's something that's very important to me. And I just launched the Southwest Florida National Aging in Place Council, which is a little bit different than what our networking niche is. That networking niche is to promote more jobs, more scholarships for students so that they can help care for our seniors. Because in my market, the biggest issue is lack of staff. The National Aging in Place chapter that we opened is a fund the need. Many people think that our seniors are very wealthy down here in Southwest Florida, and that's very much far from the truth. And so we have a fund the need for any emergency services that they might need, including adaptability items that they might need in their home. And I do have a successful real estate team down here. And we work all over really Southwest Florida, all the way up through Sarasota, because we have so many clients that travel back and forth and that are moving. However, the Productive Aging Collective is here to help give you some insight as to what's happening. We do have a coaching platform as well for those who want to learn more, get more of a blueprint, and dive in. And I can give information for that afterwards as well. But my big focus today is to loop you in on some new terminology that I'm hearing. Has anyone heard any new terminology for 2026 with seniors? I gotta move over here so I can read everything. And feel free, this is interactive. I want to hear from you all too, because I'm just switching my screen so I can't see everybody. So this year is a really momentous year in 2026. It's the first wave of baby boomers that are going to be turning 80 years old. So what does that mean? Does anyone know what the average age right now, the national average age for people moving into senior living, what it is? Has anyone heard that before?
Is it 70?
Oh, you're very, very like you're very cutting edge. I wish 70. I think everybody wishes. The national average for seniors to actually move in, and this is senior living as a whole. So it is independent living, assisted memory care, and skilled nursing. So it's just grouped as a whole. It's 84 years old. I know that senior living companies, because I've worked for several, would love that number to be in the high 70s. But in the high 70s, people really are still active. They're on their own. They're doing their own thing. Maybe they're thinking about right sizing because, you know, they live in a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot home, but they only use 3 rooms. And so this is where we have to put the bug in their head and into the adult children's head, that maybe they don't need all this space. Maybe they shouldn't be paying taxes on a property this large, caring for a property this large, and maybe it's time to look at something that's in a 55 and over community, because those are really hot all over the nation. You see HOA communities that are 55 and over right now. You also see a lot of apartment style living that is like that, as well as life plan communities, aka your CCRCs. And you're starting to see some folks really coming in and focusing in on what their care and how they can be in charge of their care. But the new terminology that is coming about is called the Acuity Cliff. Has anyone heard of this before? I did not start it, but the Acuity Cliff is officially here. And what that means is people are really starting to take control of how they're going to age in place. They want to do it on their own terms. They are very educated right now. Their adult children are nearing 50, sometimes 60 years old right now, helping them through this. And at the same point in time, they know that if they don't take control of their care, and they're really starting to learn this, that it might not be their choice. So that becomes a power struggle. Because as someone does age and move into the normal aging process, what do you think is the last form of control they have over their life? And we're talking about all aspects of your life. From
funeral arrangements?
That's one of them, but that's normally planned by this time, we hope.
It is. Yep.
But we're talking about the choices that they have. And that might be where they live, what time they get up, where they have to be. We're talking like more fundamental things that they're struggling with right now because they're being told when they have to get up because they're told when they have to take medication. They're also told when they need to go to sleep because they have to take medication, when to go to the doctors, when to eat, what to do. You have to do PT. You have to go to OT. We're going to bingo, right? We're going to this activity. The kids are coming into town. We have to do this. So it's like all of their choices are starting to dwindle down. Can't drive anymore, which is a biggie. But the last thing that they have control over with those choices, what do you think it is? Now that we narrowed some of those down. Anyone have an idea?
Where they live.
We hope, we wish. It is actually what food they can eat.
Ooh.
Their choice, their last choice, and I've known this from working in senior living, the last itty bitty thing that they can control is what they eat. Now, how that food is prepared is a completely different topic because they may need a cut diet, a chopped diet, a pureed diet, a low sodium diet, diabetic. They might need a different dietary matter, but what goes in there is still their choice. So it's a really big part of their dignity that as they're starting to go through this process, we still give them choices. And that's why you'll always hear me say, take the word recommend right out of your vocabulary. You're providing them with options, choices just like you would a first-time home buyer of what is available within their price range, right? So when you're working with seniors, you're still providing them with choices on who they can work with for home health, home care. These might be things that come up, who they need to work with to get their elder law attorney, their probate, anything that they have going on happening, their advanced directives, getting everything looked at. They have choices. Just like they would have a choice of what painter to come and paint. They get quotes, right? And it's the same thing when you're looking for senior housing. It's choices. And I've been doing this for a long time, and they'd love to be presented with choices. And I make sure I line it up for them because recommend can always come back to bite you. How many times have you recommended a home inspector or a painter and they just didn't quite get the job done right? And even though you probably provided, because as agents, right, we have to provide a certain number of options for them to choose from, they were your options. I just had this happen to me. And a client came back and said, did you know that the home inspector missed the entire backside of the house? And we have cement damage that's crumbling on the backside of the whole entire house. And I was mortified. And unfortunately, we can't control that, right? We can only control the controllables. We have to go back to that person to say, hey, we got a problem. We miss XYZ. What can we do? How can we make sure the home is structurally sound, type of a deal, right? But the same thing happens with our seniors. So when they are making this life-altering decision to find their forever home, it's a huge deal. It's not only where are we living, it's now coupled in with how's my care going to be managed. So with this new term, Acuity Cliff, you're going to hear it now that I said it. You're going to hear it everywhere. And remember, you heard it here first. And so you're going to start hearing these words being used And you're going to say, oh, I know exactly what that means.
So going off of that, Felicia, would it behoove us to maybe post something about it using that term so that we come across as the senior expert in our area?
Absolutely. You are on the right path.
Do you happen to have anything posted so that we can just copy and paste?
Well,
That would be awesome.
no. Hold on one second. I have some options for you.
I love it.
We will be posting some things today. I will be on my social media. So how many of you post on your social media every day? Just shout
Okay,
out.
goals for 2026.
Mm-hmm. The goal for 2026 is every day, right? Okay. It's important for us to utilize social media and whichever platform you prefer while it's still free. It's free. If you do email campaigns, that's really, a lot of times they're not free. Newsletters, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for a CRM. You got to pay for marketing that goes out, print marketing. You have to pay to print guides. You got to pay to go to an expo. You got to pay for all this stuff. Social media is free. You don't always have to show your face. Maybe you're doing a video and you're narrating that video over what you would like to say. But just think of unique ways that you could utilize it. You could also go on to Gemini or ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever you like to use, and say, create a campaign around this for me so that it drips. So we want to capture the attention of the sandwich generation on social media and our seniors. I have a lot of seniors right now in my marketplace on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. One lady here living in a community has 1 million followers on TikTok. And she posts about her day all the time. It's hilarious. She's very funny. So when we start putting this out there, and we've talked about this with the Acuity Cliff, you're being the authority on this. You're showing them that you are putting this out forward. And so you're helping with this navigation of crisis management, right? Because everyone knows that this year, a lot of families are facing this 80th birthday milestone. And think about the age of 80 to 84, all the things in between that can happen when the average age is 80 years old, 84 years old, moving into senior living. Now, I've had people move into senior living as old as 107 moving in. And that's when they finally thought they needed some help and they lived on their own before. So some of the things that you can post is what's 80 years ago from today? 1946, right? So think about something that can do with that and why 2026 is the year that everything changes for senior care. Letting them know, did you know that the first wave of baby boomers, the class of 1946, turns 80 this year? In the senior industry, we call this the Acuity Cliff. This is the age where maybe we should move, often becomes, we probably should move now. With senior occupancy, and you need to insert your own with your own research for what the occupancy rate is within your senior living communities. Now, I know for us, my senior housing occupancy is probably nearing 80%. And you can write something like, with senior housing nearing 80% occupancy, inventory is starting to tighten, and waiting for a crisis isn't just stressful, it's risky. You may not get your first choice or your second choice because you want a specific room. And give them an example, like a corner unit with a wraparound balcony with 2 closets and 2 bathrooms. They exist. They sure do down here. And then you could wrap up with the goal for 2026, move while it's still a choice, not medically necessary. And then I'm a big proponent right now, and I've been using apps like ManyChat to put in some sort of a guide. So I have several guides that we're pushing out. One is the difference between healthcare, like the roadmap between healthcare and senior living. Another one is red flags within your home when visiting the home. You could do something as simple as a 2026 senior living roadmap. Utilize the tools that you have to create these. Now, if you are still learning this, this is why we have our mentorship programs that we have and our member-based programs, so that you can get more familiarized with how to do this, what's a blueprint for it, what does that look like? And we all have those. And so now once you start with that, you can't post and ghost. That's not allowed. You have to post and drip. So it's not every day you're posting about the same thing, but maybe it's every other day, every 2 days. So you take that one post, put that into, to get some inspiration, into your AI of choice. Use AI as a tool to help you, not as a guideline to run your business, as a tool. And say, create a post, 7 posts, maybe it's 1 a week for the next 7 weeks. And within that post, you're still giving out that same guide, that same guidebook, right? You're still dripping the same information, but different ways, because not everybody is going to see what you post. We know that. We know that some posts get hundreds, thousands of hits, while others get 20. Figure out, especially with Facebook and Instagram, on the back end, use your insights through the Meta Business Suite to see what your sweet spots are for posting. They have on the back side of your Meta Suite, I use it every day. So I do post, and I schedule my posts out for the entire month on one day. I don't have time to post every day. And I take my calendar, my planner in the Meta Suite. How many of you do this? Anyone? And it tells me Instagram users are more apt to view this at 7 p.m. It's a popular time. I had one the other day, it said 5 a.m. on a Monday. And I was like, okay, doesn't matter to me if it gets posted at 5, 6, 8, or 10, right? It matters to the algorithm. And so the algorithm is ever changing, but use these guidelines to help you. The other thing is, I love putting soft music when I'm talking or doing something over, so that it doesn't always just sound like me. I did learn about 2 weeks ago that, you know, when you post something and it gives you suggested music, how many of you have seen that? It'll tell you. All right. Did you know that suggested music is to help boost your algorithm? I had no idea, because I would be like, I'm posting about coffee. I want a song about coffee. And the song about coffee got me like no views. It was just for my own thought, right? But if I used one of their preferred songs, it helps to boost you. So that is on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. This is just a little side note. And it helps to boost as well. But the one piece that, and I'm just going to throw this out there, that everyone is forgetting, is certain things can be posted on YouTube Shorts, and my YouTube Shorts are out. They are outpacing every other platform that I post on right now. And YouTube Shorts are Reels. It's the same thing. So all I do is I keep all my screens open and I copy paste. And I schedule. Now you can't schedule on that I know of on TikTok. So TikTok, I'm very particular in what I put on my TikTok page because it's got to be engaging. It's got to be funny, right? It's got to be something that whatever you're doing, it's a little bit of a different feel than the other platforms. But those are just some insights. So before I go any further, I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. Does anyone have any ahas from that? Who is going to do a post today about the 2026 Acuity Cliff?
Me.
Yeah. I was like, did you read? This is exciting stuff. This is something that we are being the forefront on getting ahead of everything. And letting people know what you do. It's okay at the end of every post to say, you don't have to do this alone. I specialize in the logistics, so you could focus on being the husband, wife, daughter, son, family member again. That's what this is all about. And you want to have some sort of a call to action for that. So don't let that pass you by. This is also a great thing to take this content and turn it into a marketing email campaign for your database, for those clients that are getting ready to sell. And it's just switching up your wording. Now, if you all were on a call that we had in December, we're going to be doing a master class, and we're going to open it up to everyone because it's part of the platform, on ensuring that you are utilizing AEO and SEO properly. So that's AI and your social media, your SEO, everything that you have, how you need to start focusing that for 2026. Because you bet your bottom dollar, when people are asking questions, they're going on this little thing that we have right here. They're going to AI and they're saying, who should I use for XYZ? How do you show up? I'm going to teach you that secret. They're also going, I want to look at these properties. What comps? Because they're very smart, savvy people. What comps are for this property that I have and what do they look like? So if you're not in the know for that, you have to start getting in the know for that. So we're going to be doing a masterclass on that. And it's really, really important. We're going to be scheduling that out really shortly for everyone because that is something that people in the senior niche industry need to get ahead of, especially in the real estate industry, because our consumers, it doesn't matter if you're working with a senior or they always have their adult children or their power of attorney who's helping them, most likely. Someone is going to be savvy in that. So we want you to get ahead of that curve so that you could already have all of that already down. No guesswork. You have your roadmap ready. Any thoughts, comments? This is old hat to everyone already?
Felicia, I love the use of the word roadmap. I started using that earlier this year because my company is Pathway to Purpose. And I feel like that roadmap just really creates such a good picture for the caregivers and for the adults and gives them a sense of peace and understanding. Everybody understands a roadmap versus saying, here's my checklist. It's that roadmap is taking it at your speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you're going, and just like Christy is saying, like, you're going to find your niche. You're going to find those words that are really helping you to turn the page. And if you listen to Coach Paul, he tells you the words you are using are either killing it for you or are helping you kill it, or they're killing it for you before you ever get to the finish line. Words matter. We all know that. We both can say the same thing, meaning we'd have the same outcome, and it could resonate with a larger group of people much faster because you kind of figured out that little, she figured that out, roadmap, right? That's huge. That's awesome. And that's amazing that you figured that out too, Christy. So kudos to you. I love it. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Any questions for me before we wrap up? No questions.
Great tips. Great stuff.
Awesome. Well, that is what we do. This is important for us to be at the forefront of this, shouting it out. We all know about the sandwich generation. We all know about all of the baby boomers that are happening, everything that's going on, the silver tsunami. We all hear these buzzwords that are happening. Now let's get ahead of it. And if you're feeling extra lucky, throw a blog out there and promote the heck out of that blog. All right, my friends, listen, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I want to make sure that I give you all my email. Pretty much the fastest way to get in touch. Oh, my screen is not, it's not switching that fast. I'm going to throw it in the chat. I would love to be able to get you any information that you might need, send you some info over. We do these calls, just as a reminder, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday's the only day that it's later. It is for our West Coast wake-up calls for those folks on the West Coast. But for the most part, we do them at 10 a.m. And when you sign up for it, you will get reminders now for the free call so that you always know what time it's going to be. All right. Well, listen, have a great day. Thank you all for joining. And I will talk to y'all soon.